Hello, Narnach here. Welcome back to Grim Dawn. We are playing with the Ashes of Malmouth expansion as a Inquisitor, dual wielding our way to a victory. Well, slowly at least. It's not the fastest build, at least not this early, but it is fun. So we find ourselves once again in the Twin Falls area of Old Arkovian. And today we're gonna head into the Undercity. So there's gonna be lots of these skeletal knuckleheads to deal with. I wonder if these fellas have a high resistance to piercing. Which would make sense given that they're mostly bones. You would more easily crush bones than pierce bones, I think. So from that perspective, let's see if we can just use our runes and our stormbox a little more liberally here to deal some damage that way. There is a devotion shrine over here. So in between episodes I had a quick look at our current devotions and unspec'd two of the starter nodes we picked. We picked up the white and the green starter nodes respectively to branch off into those directions to get all the preconditions for Behemoth ready. And we no longer need them. So I unspec'd those two starter points and instead picked up the red starter node and the first node of Vulture. So we can make a way towards completing that. Another little thing in between episodes is that I upgraded our relic because we were using Calamity, which is a level 18 rune word or relic. Why do we call them rune words? They're relics. And though that is very nice for getting started, but once you get a little further in, then of course at level 25 you gain access to a wider variety of relics, and one of them is the Gunslinger's Talisman. That's show, not tell. So Gunslinger's Talisman, it increases our pierce resistance, which is nice, but most importantly it gives us some elemental damage, bonus to all damage and a bonus to attack speed, so we hit more often, therefore giving ourselves more chances to crit and trigger our specials. Speaking of triggering special attacks, this one grants us a volley, which is a 10% chance to be used, and it is a two-handed or a dual wielding attack that shoots with both our main and offhand weapon. 70% of those of their damage as well as 42% physical damage. So this is yet another thing that gets added into the mix, because now keep in mind we do have the bursting rounds, 20% chance, chilling rounds, 19% chance. So with the volley that makes a total of 49% chance to trigger a special attack. And if that's not the case, then of course we have a 51% remaining chance to use the default attack, which has its own balance between shooting with the left hand, the right hand, or both hands at the same time. And I believe it's something like 40-20% internally. So now there's a higher and higher chance that we're either gonna do some splash damage, freeze something, or do some interesting stuff. Let's see, we need multiple forgotten passages. So that's always nice. And hello there, Bulvaruk. You got an assignment for me? Well, I will do your task. So we need to kill some unique ghosts within the Arkovian Undercity. Any excuse to kill things, I'm completely down with. I'm very simple that way. Maybe I should also be in the circle of protection when it is active. Oh, just a little pro tip for myself. One little skelly. Okay. So maybe I should just stop going after every single enemy and just try to kill the majority and just move on when we've had enough, rather than going for the full clear approach. seem slightly more efficient with a character like this. That might take a while because there are some varying factors that determine our weapon damage. So, always take out the priests. Priests are the true evil in this game. Well, priests and priest equivalents. Wonderful. Special chests, always loot those. And I saw a green pepper box. Is that any good? It's a small improvement. But for next level we have 2 unique weapons lined up. Or 2 epics lined up. So I'm gonna ignore it for now. Otherwise it would have been worth it just to improve it. Okay, let's start this trial by combat. And it is it's the runes that are going to give us our AoE. As well as some of the triggers, but a combined approach seemed to work better than just trying to take everything out with your guns. And that is just a caster thing. So I did take the liberty of looking up the Marauder's ammo belt, which is another thing that grants us a 10% chance to use a dual wield attack. We got some quick draw gloves lined up, level 26, so that's really soon. Has a small chance on attack to trigger a 1 second duration for 100% increased attack speed. So now we're just gonna shoot twice as fast. And then the Marauder's Fury and Marauder's Justice. So we're gonna get a 3-piece set bonus here. I've also pre-socketed everything with the same components I'm using now, so they're gonna be drop-in replacements. Since now we're not maxed out on any of the resists, might as well just inherit the components we are currently using. So you are a tough bugger. But if we apply multiple runes, things suddenly do get easier. Balgazar, let's put ourselves in a circle of protection, heal ourselves up a little bit. Stormbox, more runes. Okay. It goes quickly when you do explode some nasty things underneath their feet. There we go. Yeah, and warlocks. If you're not maximally resisting your vitality, then warlocks have a nasty habit of putting a warlock circle, a seal of sigil of consumption or equivalent of that underneath your feet. That is gonna do some damage, drain your life, all that good stuff. Boom. Right. Time to go below floors. Looking for 3 ghosts. One of them is always somewhere there. The other 2 are on the next level downstairs, if I remember my ghost locations correctly. Hey, hello there. How was that? You are related to Nomos threats, I think. Though you, of course, were not important enough to be mentioned in the quest. You're just a random spawn. Or no, maybe Dread is like Smith or something of a very generic last name that a lot of people have that does not really imply a familial relationship between the people. It's just very common. Never quite know. Maybe there's a book about it. No, the families or the history of what's the area called again? Not Condon. No, history of the area. A history of families throughout the ages. I'm sure that the devs could make that exciting, because they have a habit of making just about every bit of lore exciting to read. Oh, also a little bit of secrets. Area. With, of course, priests. Priests are the evil in the world, so they need to die. No, of course, in the virtual game world. That's always the entire caveat for everything I say. Hello there, goodbye. So we gained ourselves a level. Let's first spend some skill points then. So let's upgrade that 2 times. So 4 more points, then we get arcane empowerment. We get artifact handling. So empowerment is going to be a nice damage upgrade for our Inquisitor Seal. Artifact handling is going to be a 1-pointer that allows our runes to recharge a little faster and gives them a small damage bonus. With more points it gets better, but as a 1-pointer it can just be lifted by all the bonuses to plus skills. And we gain access to Storm Spread, our lightning based damage proc, and Horn of Gendar. So that's going to be an active AoE skill that we can use to do quite some damage. Based on main hand damage, it has a lot of flat piercing damage, confuses enemies, and it reduces their elemental resist for 5 seconds. And it has a 6-second recharge, and if you put skill points in it, then the radius is going to increase. So I do plan on maximizing this, because it looks basically like a war cry on the soldier side. There's the big AoE that really debuffs enemies, and in this case it does a massive amount of damage as well. If you're playing with a 2-handed weapon rather than 2 one-handers, this is going to do even more damage, because it actually uses the weapon or the damage of your main hand, and in that case 2-handers do about double the damage of a one-hander. So that's going to be a nice bonus there. So yeah, that's going to be a lovely one. In the meantime though, we have an extra skill point I would love to spend on something. Just to keep up the habit of spending 1 skill point per level on something useful. And topping this one off might be a good idea actually. Just to increase the chance to be used. And this is one of the changes from the 1.03 patch. The damage inflicted by chilling rounds and also bursting rounds, it actually now scales up with a level, so you have an added incentive to maximize these skills. So next level we can pick one of them, and then a level afterwards I think we'll just spend 3 points unlocking the rest of these. In addition to that, let's see, ammo belt, gloves, gun. Yeah, I could expect to get both of those returned, couldn't I? So all the other items, they served us well, but for now they're just not good enough anymore. Nice thing is I do have 2 Healthbane ammo in both guns, so they replaced the old ones, makes it easy to recast them. And in terms of points spent, it is the physique's turn this time. See, cunning is slightly outpacing physique here, so it might actually be useful to spend a couple more points on physique just to try to keep them somewhat even, but for now it's good. So yeah, we gain a decent bonus here, and importantly we got ourselves a automatic proc that slows enemies and does a bunch of elemental damage. And sets them on fire, which I don't think we did yet. So, wonderful. Let's try out our newfound toys. Normally you can go through here, so now we actually have to walk around.
Skill's not ready.
Pick up all the loot things, all in all the places. Let's electrocute some ghosts. Pick up more forgotten passages. They're very conveniently located on the minimap, or highlighted on the minimap, I should say. Because they're not located on the minimap; they're just merely highlighted. I must say that the sound of the guns just shooting and shooting, and especially if you get a lot of the double shot triggers going off at the same time, it is very satisfying. And there is the third passage. Wonderful. That gets us a blueprint for the Sanctuary Relic, which we already have. And a little bit of lore. Wonderful. So, boom, 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 bunch of costs. It's one of the nice things of just having a lot of the abilities be passive procs rather than things we actively have to trigger is there's just not a lot of micromanagement. Now, the downside is that there's a lot of randomness to whatever you're doing. But the upside is that you don't need to micromanage your build too much. You can just focus on shooting things and most of the time things will work themselves out eventually. Okay, let's just focus on the priests. Everything else will eventually work its way out. And there is no more dread. Okay, let's make sure we are inside of the circle. Probably should teach myself to cast a circle on myself rather than on the enemy, so I don't have to walk towards my protective circle. It's very bad if you have to walk towards your protective circle rather than just standing inside of it. Because no time you spend moving is time you don't spend shooting. This ancient sarcophagus always contains a bunch of loot. It is easy to forget, especially if the boss comes towards you. But it is worth the effort. Also, loot. Cannot resist the call of the loot. It's a small chest, but still. Loot is loot. That's the exit for when we do a deep dive. So here there's just a couple of specialists. Most of them are ranged. They are more difficult to deal with than the than the meleers that have a good habit of just bunching up and getting killed by your AoEs. At the lowest level of the Undercity, the boss Kilrian is going to be a nice challenge. A nice test to see if our single target DPS is at least solid here. Because on the lesser powered builds, it takes a while to kill. On the supercharged builds, he's actually pretty easy to push over. He's got a pretty large AoE, so for the summoner again, he's maybe a little tricky. Okay, so there's an exit here that leads to the waypoint. So if you open up a portal inside and then walk out, then you can use the portal to go back inside, and that saves you a little bit of a walk. It's something in the past I've not always done it correctly. Pick up a new quest to kill her daughter. One of the harpies in this area. But we can just use the waypoint now to go back. Which is much more convenient than walking. Saves you 5 or 10 seconds. But still, those little things, they do add up. Especially if there's not really any effort involved. It's simply more time you can spend opening treasure chests or killing things. Or opening treasure chests while your runes kill things. No, that's also an option. That's multitasking, very efficient. Oftentimes there is a strong box down here, so it does pay off to take the slightly longer walk down here. Ooh, they actually shot down the wall themselves. Destructive little skeletons. Wow, we actually cast a rune all the way over there. Just accidentally clicked it, but still, that's kind of funny. Okay, bottlenecks, that's a nice place for runes. Yeah, okay, so guys that have a habit of blocking you. Maybe not the most ideal opponents. So I believe the block chance does supersede your chance to hit or crit or things like that. Okay, there's a couple of priests in here, so focus on them before we take on the hero. Let's just booby trap this area here. So when the Blood Drinker comes to us, we can just take him out. Box him and then just keep shooting. His health is going up. On the one hand, that's probably because he's a Blood Drinker. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a priest hiding somewhere around the corners. Well, no, this one wasn't involved. I think this was an innocent priest. Oh, being mobbed by ghosties here. So at the moment, not a lot seems to be left over of my intended hit and run playstyle. On the one hand is of course because we do have the Inquisitor Seal. I'm just trying to figure out how to make it work in the best possible way. Hello there, Wandering Soul. I believe you should die, but there's a priest here, so let's focus priest first and then go back to the Wandering Soul. Marvelous. This is just a bit of a bunch of sleepyheads. Spraying out the two traps so they don't necessarily trigger at the same time does allow you to cover a larger area. So this is the maximum range for the thing, it seems like. He's actually dead. Well, once we're a couple levels ahead, I'll see about doing some more hit and run, or when the situation kind of suggests it is useful to do. Like when there's freaking meteors falling on top of your head, that's a very good excuse to just run around and not get hit by them, because, well, they're meteors. I don't think there's ever anything that suggests that trying to tank a meteor with your face is a good idea. Okay, double ghosts. And a ground circle. Okay, so that's one of those things where taking a step back, not tanking the effect that the enemy is throwing at you. Good idea, again. Nope. Enemy was glowing so much I couldn't see it was still alive. The Stormbox is a very nice reminder for that. If it's pointing to something, it means that something is still alive, so you shoot at it. No matter what it is. So, a lot of fire grass in the area now that we just covered. Rowena is going to be more towards the top. And some enemies there dug their way out of the floor behind us. If they manage to get close enough while I'm still here, then they're lucky, I'll kill them. Otherwise, well, they're lucky because I don't kill them. By the way, they're lucky, I guess. They should just be honored that I pay attention to them. I guess it's a bit of a sad fate, being a monster in a video game. You basically only exist at no, for the sole pleasure of the player killing you. It's no, you don't have a life, you don't have any goals, you don't have any. No, there's no purpose to you except just to spawn, fight, and die. So if you then get just completely ignored by the player, that must be really depressing. Ah, poor monsters. I feel slightly sorry for them now. Sorry, but yeah. Hello, goodbye. There's something in here. Ooh, hidden spoils. That's nice. Dead Peter. That sounds like a club of sorts. And it is a very spiky club. +2 to raise skeletons. Okay, that's kind of cool. We also found a Serenity Stone. +2 to Arcane Empowerment and +2 to Squad Tactics. I think Squad Tactics is a soldier thing. And it's mostly a life bonus as well as some bleeding resistance. Let's see, on the other side, anything good come by? Found some guns. They are massive downgrades over what we currently have, so that's always nice to see. Ooh, look at this one. Compared to the current one, especially in a set context, it's just a massive downgrade. Pants with a chance to cast Fireball. Fireball, no, we shoot a lot. 5% chance to attack combined with a lot of attacks. No, 2 attacks per second, and we do have some buffs that occasionally increase that. So, no, that on average, no, we'll do 10 attacks in 5 seconds, or 20 attacks in 10 seconds. So with a 5% chance to attack, you might see it once per 10 seconds on average. So the 1.5 second recharge is gonna be more than enough. And a 50% chance to stun is kind of neat. But, well, the pants themselves are not really an improvement, so that is too bad. Ice Spike chance on attack. Kinda neat, but the Battle Cry is more useful, I would say. And we have more defensive properties on our current helmet as well. Belt is not a unique, so I don't really care. So, nothing in here is actually all that useful. Hey, good evaluation. My stuff is good. Better than what we found. That's always nice to get some confirmation for that. Also, priest. Let's kill the priest. Then kill the tank. First priest, then the tank. It's like playing PvP in an MMO, right? Oh, we needed to spend more points, so... You know what? We'll actually spend 3 points, and next level we spend 1 point to update it, and then we have 2 points to spend on the upgrades here. In terms of devotions, we're still good. We actually picked up a point that I did not spend. So, as I mentioned, I refunded some points, picked up the red, and picked up the vulture starter. So next up is the midpoint for the vulture. So 3 more points, then this one is completed, and we can head over to the behemoth. We do need to spend 1 point on the blue starter to grab this, but that's a concern for later. Okay, next room will contain a Rowena Cur, who is ranged like me. So it's gonna be a duel of shooters, pistol duel. So she's using a crossbow and has some stuff she throws. Oh, let's stand in my circle. Again, I made the mistake of trying to cast it at my enemy. Ooh, yeah, trying to approach me. That's not the best strategy, lady. Goodbye. I must say, that went surprisingly quick. And we gained Aldenar's Stabilizer. Very defensive belt, useful if you have issues with stabilizing yourself. Otherwise though, not really that great. Steel Obelisk, it's two-handed, so not useful, and this is just lower quality than what we currently have. Wonderful. So the real prize here is this secret Because, oh wow, we actually get the full jackpot here. We get both a treasure trove and we get hidden spoils. Hidden spoils are, of course, always nice. But treasure troves have a habit of usually giving you at least a purple crafting thing or like an epic item. And we got a ancient heart, a mark of Dreek, and 2 more greens. And our greens are starting to overflow. Wonderful. That's a good thing we are getting close to the boss fight here. Mr. Kilrian. With a bit of luck we actually can extract a shard of his soul. Oh, hello there. You look big and angry and scary. So I'm gonna do the stupid thing and just face tank you. Is that a good thing? No, let's not. Okay, so I'm just doing this a little bit more extreme than you probably ought to do it. Oh, that's a shadow step. Wonderful. Oh, and you got priest back up. Yeah, what did I say about priests? Murder them before you pay attention to anything else, because otherwise, well, they're gonna undo the damage you did. Especially with big enemies, they got a percentage-based heal. So, oh, if they heal half something's life, and that something is boss tier, then that's gonna be a big heal. Without the priest backup though, he's not so tough anymore. Boom. And we didn't even get much in the terms of loot here. Hey, let's head downstairs for our confrontation with the final boss of this outfit, Mr. Kilrian. So a big enemy like that is probably a good target for our tether. There's some background support here from the crossbow bolters. So putting yourself in a circle is a pretty nice way for dealing with that, I think. And ooh, there's actually a priest I overlooked. Wonderful. Nothing great. Let's just keep a portal up here just in case, because it is a deep dive if we do mess up here. And then it's time for the fight with Mr. Kilrian himself. So the more you move, the more enemies you trigger. So especially for a build like this that maybe wants to be rather mobile, let's just pick up all the loot and just run around and murder all the priests. It's basically the theme of all the undead areas. Go after the priest. For global areas, of course, it is the warlocks. In here we also have a couple of spawns, and ooh, this looks like a nice place to put down some runes. Okay. Okay, his AoE is not very compatible with mine. Wonderful. And his AoE is once again up. Without a large amount of quote-unquote passive stay alive tricks like lifesteal, heavy health regen, or background regen, you will be ping-ponging quite a bit with your health and just relying on both your health flask and a Word of Renewal. Did have some plans for that, and that's of course why I'm going for the behemoth as one of the first goals, because the behemoth is a very nice way to help yourself stay alive. Let's see, as a loot we got ourselves a Blood Reaper's coat, which is for the Nightblade set, so not actually all that useful for ourselves, but there is a shrine down here, and of course shrines are cool. And we just got more rubbish from this, but the devotion point is welcome. For, let's see, ooh, health leech. Yeah, let's just increase the raw amount of health we have. That seems like a pretty decent short-term strategy. We already looted that one. So, yeah, we are done here. Because we did claim the Broken Hills waypoint a little earlier. So is there anyone we have to speak to? Nope, not really, because we have already completed all the requests. So for now, let's just go back to all Arkovia so we can sell things. Well, I'll sell things in between episodes. For now, I'm simply gonna thank you very much for watching and hope to see you again in next episode. Bye bye.